And we're back once again, streaming live from across America. From Washington, D.C., I'm the Trigger Rich Bontrager.
And
And
from
in
Austin,
big old
Texas,
Texas,
Sandra D. Robinson.
down in the Big D.
Yeah, right. No, not the Big D. Not Dallas. We ain't Dallas. We Austin. It's very different. Very different
Very,
flavor.
very different.
But that's all right. The Big T. We'll call it that.
The Big T. So
Yeah.
today we're back once again, getting you ready for the Ready-Set-Smile Masterclass coming up later on this month. We'll tell you more about that. But
Yep.
one of the great obstacles for many people is why they can't get to the greatness that they want to have. And one of the obstacles is they just don't hire a coach to help them do it, Sandra.
Well, I find that, and this goes for me, my hands up first, right? So I kept thinking that whenever I was on camera, I had to be like other people that I saw that were doing things that I was doing. So at one point, I even imitated one of those people, and it felt awful. It looked awful. It was just not serving me in the best way. And I see that now with people that you and I both work with, because they're at a caliber of success already and recognition. They're very smart in what they do. They're very talented in what they do. But being on camera isn't their background like it is for you and I.
Right.
So they do the best they can with this is what I think people do anyway, do the best they can with what they have at the time. What they have at the time is limited knowledge of how they're actually showing up in the world. Most people don't go that extra mile. So if you want to be mediocre, you can scroll on. But if you want to be outstanding and you want to look really spectacular as yourself and really showcase who you are in the most authentic way, most of the time you need to be able to look at the bottle from the outside of the glass, not when you're inside of it.
Perspective of everything.
Mm.
And us trying to be our own mirror does not work. No matter how great you are, the greatest coaches, the greatest sports athletes have a coach to help them learn the little nuances that make it better.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times aren't the nuances, Rich, the things that people take for granted, or they go, well, that's just me. Well, that just me, that little bit of humor, that little bit of geekiness, that little bit of goofiness, the stutter, even for you, Richard.
Yeah.
Those are the things that people go, oh, well, I love that. It's the imperfections a lot of times. It's the things that are just unusual and unique about you that you don't even think about putting forward, but that's what people in real life are drawn to. So that's why sometimes it takes someone from outside to be able to say, bring that out a little more.
Well, and we're too close to our own story. We really can't see our story. We know our story, or we think we know our story. But like you just said, there's things about ourselves that people go, it's endearing, it's cool. They may never tell you that. You may not understand that, but that attraction is something you don't see, feel, taste the way they do. So you need someone to hold the mirror up and say, by the way, this is what they're really, really seeing.
Yeah, that's so true. I've had a young girl that comes to mind, and she was working. She looked very young for her age, and she was only maybe late 20s anyway. But she was working in a field where she had to go networking. Most of this was done in person. It's geographically bound. So she's going out networking with older people that are parents of kids going into colleges. She looks like she's going into college herself. So she always thought, well, I'll dress a certain way, I'll stand a certain way, so I look older. And she hated going into these networking events. This is one of the main things that we were working on, is that she said, I just can't promote my business because I don't like going out. I don't like talking about it. And when I finally said, what do your friends say about you? And I love this. She goes, they call me Muppet. I'm like, why? And then she goes into her real personality. See, even in the class with me, she was trying to be what she thought she was supposed to be. Right. And when I said, why did they call you that? And then she went into like her true personality, which was absolutely freaking adorable. I'm like, why would you think that because somebody is 20 years older than you, they're not going to love that thing about you? Why would you hide that? So the second that we told her, we encouraged her to go into the next meeting and be that person, she called me the day after and said, I never even got to walk into the room. I'm like, why? And she said, because everybody kept coming up to me at the door.
See,
I mean,
and
that I would have said walk into the room anyway. But the point is, like, she felt so comfortable that she just kept carrying on conversations and people brought more people to her. And she kind of stayed in one area of the room the whole night, but talked to almost everybody. That was a win. As far as I was concerned, that was a win. And she felt like herself.
well, sometimes we're trying so hard to try so hard. There's a weight on that limits us and brings us down. We put self expectations. We think we know who we are. We don't know who we are. We don't know what other people are seeing. Years ago, when I was still in church ministry, I was at a church planner assessment where we work with fellow church planners to see where they best fit, how their team's going to work, their dreams, their mission, everything. It's all vision casting and rip your life apart, put it back together. Lots of fun. But we had a guy that was wanting to be a senior lead pastor. Great guy, entrepreneur of the nth degree. He has done multiple businesses. He's highly successful in that space. And he wants to plant a church. And the more we listened to him, I finally sat down and I asked his wife, and I said, so he wants to be the lead pastor. What do you see him doing? Because he's a multiple entrepreneur. She goes, he's a builder. He's not truly a leader. He's a builder. And then he sat back and said, you know what? You're right. I said, so do you have to be the number one, the lead pastor? He goes, well, what else could I be? I said, you could be a great number two. You could help the pastor cast his vision, lead his vision, build the vision, work with all the teams, do everything that you do in the business sector, but do it within the church, and the church will be better for it. He leaned back, and you see the load fall off his shoulders of I have to be this. And then during that weekend, we introduced him to one of the other planters who needed a number two. They met, they hooked up, and went off and planted a church together.
See,
We can't see what we can't see because we're stuck in our own space. And only with them outside could we have done that. And his wife doesn't have that space to do it because she's too close to it too. The value of a coach is so important.
Some people will say you can go off and ask your friends. You've probably heard this, right? Go
Yeah.
interview a bunch of your friends and say, what do you love about me? Most of the time, they may not be completely honest, or they're going to think that you don't really mean that you want a real answer. So the truth is, it sometimes works a little. But when I work with people with their personal branding, which is more in depth than we get in the class itself, right? But we get a little bit of it. But when I work with people in that personal branding, we do this assessment, we do this kind of deeper dive. And at the end of it, like you said, there's this relief of like, oh, I can actually be who I am. And I remember that for me, the first day that I accidentally became me on camera was we were rehearsing. It was an infomercial I was hosting with someone else. We were rehearsing and we had a technical issue. I thought that it was a rehearsal. I mean, we were actually filming and we had a technical issue. I thought it was going on as a rehearsal because of the technical issue, like a light fell or something like that. And so I became very relaxed and I was friends with the guy that was hosting with me. So we just sort of joked back and forth and we sort of kind of went through the script, but not like perfectly.
Right.
They came out and said, that was fantastic. Rave reviews. Can we do another take just like that? And in my mind, you know what I thought? I didn't do anything. That was easy. I messed up, but they didn't care about the exact words of the script. They didn't care whether I stood there perfectly. They wanted the human beings to be up there in front of the camera talking. And when I was able to relax and joke around with my friend, they saw who I actually was as opposed to the person I was trying to be. So you see what I'm saying, that we need a coach, we need somebody on the outside, is because I've been there. I did this mistake and this was a paid job that I was learning from. You're better off to learn before you have to actually be under the pressure of representing someone else or someone else's product, your own product. Do the preparation and the prep work and get comfortable before you have that interview on camera. It's worth it.
Well, and one of the things that I was thinking about this past week is we don't have the roadmap. We may have a vision, a drive, a passion, but we don't have the roadmap sometimes to get from here to there. A good coach will help you build that roadmap. That's what the masterclass is all about. We're taking them step by step. We're helping them with hot seats. We're helping them with other things. But that roadmap to help you get there is so important. It removes the fear, the obstacles.
Yeah.
Again, I was working with This was actually my observation of Jimmy Fallon. I'll go there. Jimmy Fallon, great stand-up comic. People know him now, of course, is Tonight Show, the great host, great interview. But a lot of people have forgotten he's a stand-up comic that became Tonight Show host. The thing about that is the talent of a stand-up comic is radically different than a talk show host. Radically different. He did not walk into NBC, sit down, and said, "I'm here. I got this." He had coaches move him from stand-up comic to be an entertainer to being a talk show host. He could not have done that alone.
No, no. Coaches are there. Coaches are there. When people change their venue, they change their brand and they step into something else. Going from hosting one show to another show, you see a different side of them. That may not come naturally. That's more than likely got a coach behind the scenes that's helping them with that. And it doesn't mean that you have to be famous and super rich or have a network behind you in order to be able to get those lessons. You just find somebody that has the experience, like we do, right?
Well,
Our varied experience.
Well, and it's often a smoother way. Be left to myself, I've tried the coach and I've tried all of them. It's bumpy, it's jerky. I make a wrong turn. I walk into the wall with my business and like, why am I hitting the same stupid wall, Rich? Someone else comes in and says, by the way, here's another way to get around that wall.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't I see that?
Because we're like the fly, you know, I've got big windows sitting here in my office. I get a fly that's like, and one window will be open and it's banging itself against the one that's closed. I'm like, literally 2 feet to your left, there is freedom. And they just bang on the one that's closed. So we do that. We do that. We're like giant flies.
One of the things that we have to struggle with as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as top tier leaders that you and I work with, we work with some amazing people.
Brilliant.
I'm going to say this with all the love I can say it, but I'm going to say bullseye. You got to drop your ego, get the help to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You have to drop the ego to receive the help you need because you want to get there. You have the heart, the drive. You're staying up late when it comes to media on camera. This is now changing the landscape of every business out there.
The ego is in the way.
The ego is in the way of you learning these skills to help your business grow.
Yeah.
That may be hard medicine, but part of the thing that Sandra and I love to do is like making it fun, light, entertaining.
Yeah.
And we get to know you in a way that few other people can when we help you elevate through the media lens.
It is true though, too, that sometimes people, it's ego, but it's also, there's fear within that same thing, right? The fear of like, well, I can't look bad because I've already gotten this far. I can't look bad. So there's a sense of being in a class like ours could potentially make them, put them in a vulnerable position, could make them look bad. So I want to really emphasize that that's not how you and I work.
No.
So because it didn't work for me. So I know what worked for me. I grew up in a very critical household. Criticism just will destroy me if I allow it. So I now have things in place to protect me, but that was not the way I moved forward. I moved forward by having people say, hey, you did this really, really well, or this is something that we want to see more of because this natural thing that you do is really, really great. To pull that out and actually encourage people to do the things that are easy for them, that are comfortable for them. That's how we coach. This is not a, whip to you or putting your feet in the fire kind of thing. This is actually positive reinforcement, if you want to call it that.
So coming on up, we have a next class, and we are going to get into lighting yourself like a star on a budget. No. Sorry, wrong one.
Topics. That's the next one.
Staying on topic.
Yes.
Staying on
Ironically.
topic. There we go, right there. Staying on topic. And I was talking to somebody this week, and they were like, I need to come to that class. Because I have rabbit trails everywhere. And watching their video, they do.
Yeah. There's those that are, and we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are registering as ADD, ADHD, right? So that's a common thing. But the other thing is that sometimes we worry about staying on topic because we think we're going to forget something. And that gets us into squirrel brain, right? Where we can go off and because we're worried about it. So there's definitely some value into our topic this month, but it's also good to point out our topic is not the only thing we handle. Our topic is only something that we teach at the top of the class.
Yes.
And then the rest of the class is about what you, the student, needs. It's whatever you want to talk about in the Q&A. We have hot seats that are specific that you learn from, whatever they need. So it's really a very organic learning experience. And you can bring whatever it is that are your inhibitions and your concerns to the class, and we'll deal with them.
Or if you have a specific video or
Yeah.
need that you need to address so you can get your next project done properly, bring your question. We're going to help you in the moment. But the hot seats, again, we all learn. The person on the hot seat is going to learn immensely with the immediate transformation, the immediate insight that Sandra and I bring through watching, through listening. But also, the rest of the class is also going to be going, I wonder if I do that too.
Yeah.
Or I wonder if I should try that too. So there's a lot of learning and takeaways right away. This is an interactive, private setting. This is not open. This is not a live stream
Mhm.
event that you get two coaches,
This is
immediate
us.
access to
Yeah.
the best of the best right there.
This is us working for you for peanuts, but for peanuts, I tell you, this is ridiculous. We're not getting rich on this, but we want you to be able to reach that next level of comfort. And when you do, then we have the resources and the opportunities to take you to the next level and the next level. But this is really just wherever you are, we can help you get to the next level of comfort. And when you do register, that's when you get the opportunity to apply for a hot seat. There's only one or two in each class, and that's it. So apply, register, then you'll see the application for that. If you want to choose to do that, we'll very kindly lift you up during that class and give you some really specialized attention.
And again, we do have a vault. We're doing interviews that will supplement. We'll have special guests coming in to give you good content, and staying with us, you're going to get access to the vault of rich content with professional actors, broadcasters, other people that work within the field of media. They're going to help you and your business. So whatever business you're in, media is the game. Sandra and Trigger are there to help you out. And you want to come and join us for Ready, Set, Smile, the masterclass. And May 28th,
Yeah.
1 hour. 1
1
hour.
hour, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't be late. It's going to go really, really fast. It's chock full of stuff. Come ready to take notes. Come ready to write down and take advantage of anything that is coming up. Like we said, we've got the guests that are going to share some tips. There's a lot. It is really jam packed. So not to say that we're going to give you a fire hose, because we want you to feel like we are taking care of you. So we're doing everything we can to give you as much as we can within the hour.
And remember, we're going to help you remove the obstacles to get to the greatness you want. You want the greatness?
Mhm.
You have two coaches already to help you get there. So let us be the mirrors. Let us be the lens and help you get to where you want to get. As always, you're going to reach out to us. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're on other places. So please connect with Sandra and I. And we would love to see you at Ready, Set, Smile, May 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So come and join Sandra. If nothing else, you get to hang out with Sandra.
We'll see you